Hey guys! I noticed that many questions came up again and again under my slime videos. These include things like, can I use borax instead of contact lens solution? Or why did my slime turn hard and watery after I made it? So this video is here to solve all of those problems. If you're new here, then please take a moment to subscribe to Cute Life Hacks on my other DIY channel, Macaroon. By the time you finish watching this, I can guarantee that you'll be a perfect slime creator. A big thanks to King, the makers of Bubble Witch 3 Saga, for sponsoring this video. If you're obsessed with cute things, then you have to try out this game. Just click the link under this video to download it for free. My favorite game mode is the one where you have to free the owls. A tip for this one is to always aim your bubbles as high as possible so you can drop most of them all at once. And once you get past level 15, it gets even more fun because you can start creating a unique house. As you build the house for Stella, you can get rewards that will help you in the game. You can also visit your friends' houses and see what they look like. After you start playing the game, let me know below which game mode or house you like best. Bubble Witch 3 Saga is entirely free to download and play, but you can also get in-app purchases to help you along. And through Valentine's Day, you can get up to 50% more when you purchase one of these special bundles. Thank you so much for listening, and now let's get started with our slime making masterclass. Hack number 1 is actually understanding the science behind how slime is made. This will save you from wasting a lot of time or money experimenting with ingredients that will never produce slime. Slime is the result of a chemical reaction between PVA and borate under alkaline or basic pH conditions. PVA stands for polyvinyl alcohol or polyvinyl acetate, and it's a non-toxic, water-soluble plastic. When it comes into contact with borax, the PVA polymer chains start to clump together, and that's what creates the slime texture. The most common place to find PVA is inside glue, which is why this is the starting point of most slime recipes. However, did you know that PVA can also be found in many peel-off cosmetics, such as these face masks or these famous Korean lip glosses? All of these will technically work for slime, but they're far more expensive than glue, so it's up to you to decide whether it's worth it. Hack 3 is being able to narrow down which glues actually contain PVA. Sadly, lots of glues that contain PVA do not have it written on the packaging. The easiest type of glue to spot is white craft glue. If your glue is white when it comes out of the tube and it dries transparent, then it definitely contains PVA and it'll work for slime. You can get white PVA glue a lot cheaper from hardware shops. It's often sold as wood glue, or in German Holzleim, and it's used in carpentry or other large-scale DIY projects. If you make a lot of slime, then you can save a ton of money by buying your glue in bulk from a hardware shop instead of using the small bottles sold for crafting. Clear PVA glue is trickier to find because lots of brands don't actually contain it. My best advice is just to keep on experimenting. Buy different types of clear glue and test it out using a basic slime recipe. Once you find a brand that works for slime, then you can always stick to that. These next hacks will help you narrow down the choice of clear glues that you can experiment with. Remember that I mentioned earlier that PVA is always water-soluble. Water-based glues generally don't smell bad because they don't contain any chemical solvents. Solvents are used to make glues a lot stronger, such as E6000 or superglue. So now you know that if your glue smells really bad, then it can't be water-based, which means it doesn't contain PVA, which means that it won't work for slime. Another trick for spotting clear PVA glue is that after it dries, it tends to form a clear plasticky layer that you can peel off like this. This is why it's often used in makeup or as peel-off base coats. So if your glue looks like this when dry, then chances are good that it contains PVA. Hack number 8 is more of a safety guidance. Some people might be thinking right now, but I did try this really strong glue for slime and it worked for me. The truth is, you can actually force certain glues to turn slimy by either refrigerating it or rubbing it on your skin for long enough. However, this isn't a good type of slime, and it doesn't behave in the same way as the fluffy or clear slimes that you see on Instagram. And for safety reasons, it's a really bad idea to expose your skin to the chemicals found in strong glue. As you can see on the warning label, glues like E6000 are known to cause cancer or kidney problems. They're absolutely not supposed to be used on skin, which is exactly what you're doing if you start making slimes using solvent-based glues. Hack number 9 clears up the mystery why borax is illegal in so many countries except the United States. However, you can actually order this from Amazon.com even if you live in Europe, and I've included all the shopping links below. Borax is a naturally occurring chemical called sodium borate. However, just because it occurs naturally doesn't mean it's entirely harmless. There have been studies which show that exposure to too much borax can cause infertility or hormonal problems. This is why a lot of countries decided to ban pure borax in order to reduce the chances of women being exposed to it from too many different sources. In many countries, sodium borate is still used in a lot of household products. This is why people have managed to make slime using air freshener, face wash, or shower gel. However, in the European Union, borax is banned from absolutely everything except eye products. So the only place you'll find borate in Europe is inside eye drops or contact lens solution. When choosing your contact lens solution, look for the words buffered or saline on the packaging. Borate is used to buffer sterile solutions so it doesn't sting your eyes. Even better, if you see sodium borate or boric acid on the ingredients list, then it should definitely work for slime. So in a nutshell, if you're trying to get pregnant or you're already pregnant, then you should stay away from making slime. Sodium borate is not dangerous in small amounts, which is why it's used inside so many eye products. But slime making often involves skin contact with much larger amounts of borax than any manufacturer intended, so it's better safe than sorry. If you weren't aware of the risks of borax and you're not really comfortable with that now, then use rubber gloves or a spatula when making your slime. These are the 2 most effective methods for making slime. You can either use baking soda and contact lens solution, or powdered borax and water. I know that a lot of people like to use detergent, but I found that method never worked for me. I think it's one of those products where in some countries it contains borate and in other countries it doesn't. I'm going to leave it out of this video because detergent doesn't work for clear slime anyway. Baking soda is also called bicarbonate of soda, and it's a chemical that's strongly alkaline or basic. This increases the pH of your glue so that the chemical reaction between PVA and borate can occur. Contact lens solution contains borate, but it's not very alkaline, so just using that alone won't work for slime. Another question that comes up a lot is whether baking powder will work instead of baking soda. Just so you know the difference, baking soda is a pure chemical, as I just mentioned. Baking powder is a mixture of different things, including cornstarch, bicarbonate of soda, and citric acid. So yes, baking powder does contain baking soda, but in a weaker form because the citric acid neutralizes the pH, which is so important for making slime. You can see a clear difference in texture between the 2 right here. Some people have said that baking powder works for them, but you have to use a lot more of it. I'd personally recommend sticking to baking soda just to make your own life a lot easier. Hack 16 shows you how to make slime activator. You might have seen people use this on Instagram and wondered what on earth it was. It's actually really simple, but it only works if you can get hold of pure borax. My recipe uses 1 cup of warm water with 2 teaspoons of borax. However, this isn't a definite guide. Some people like using different amounts of borax for different types of glue, and others add a tiny bit of baking soda as well. So if you make a lot of slime, then your slime activator is a bit like your own secret recipe. Once you've made your slime activator, you can keep it in a bottle to use again and again. However, if you use a mineral water bottle, then be sure to label it really clearly. Borax should not be swallowed under any circumstances, so please make that clear and keep the bottle away from children and pets. When people talk about using borax to make slime, they always mean a borax solution like this. You should never add powdered borax directly into slime, and you'll see why later on. So now let's tackle some problems that come up when you're making slime. To do this, I'm going to try and replicate failed slimes in order to see what caused the problem. Hack 19 is to encourage you to do the same yourself. Try setting up a small experiment like this to see which ingredients work best. I'm adding a little bit of water to white glue and then stirring it around until it has the consistency of thick cream. I find that this is a good base for white slime when using the baking soda method. Be careful when adding baking soda because that's a common reason why slime turns hard and rubbery. I'm going to add different amounts so you can see what effect each one has. Hack 22 is to add contact lens liquid in small amounts and stir your slime really well after each one. If you're 100% sure that your glue contains PVA but your slime still doesn't work, then try switching brands of contact lens solution. Making slime often involves a lot of trial and error in the beginning. Hack 23 shows you how the baking soda slimes turned out. I'm using tiny containers, so please remember to scale up your recipes if you make more. The best version of slime was the one that used 2 pinches of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of contact lens liquid, or 4 pinches of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of contact lens liquid. Using just 1 pinch of baking soda wasn't enough, so the first one stayed liquid. Using 8 pinches of baking soda was too much and the slime turned hard and rips easily. So if you have the same problems, then try to measure your ingredients and adjust your recipe slightly each time you make it. Another way to help slime stay soft is to add shaving foam, lotion, baby oil, or cornstarch. This dilutes the PVA so the slime doesn't rip so easily. It also bulks out your recipe so you have more slime to play with or sell. Now let's make some slime using the activator we made earlier. I used 2 tablespoons of plain glue and I added 2 teaspoons of activator. At first your mixture might look watery since the PVA is clumping together unevenly. So be sure to stir it really well so the solution gets evenly absorbed. Slime activator behaves slightly differently to contact lens liquid, so you have to experiment a bit with your recipes. Now this one shows you why you shouldn't add powdered borax directly into slime. It's way too strong and it will cause the PVA to clump together instantly. The result is one hard lump like this with the extra liquid from the glue all around it. I think this explains a problem that many people had where they said the slime turns hard but watery. This can also happen if you add too much baking soda after the contact lens liquid. So be sure to always add your ingredients in small amounts and stir well after each step. So the question many people have is which method works better, contact lens solution or borax-based slime activator? If you're using white glue, then slime activator is always the best option. As you can see here, all the baking soda and contact lens solution slimes turned hard after a few days. The slime activator one is still perfectly stretchy. This difference is quite important if you sell your slimes, since you want them to stay soft for your customers. However, I find that this is only a problem with white glue slimes. Both methods work perfectly fine for clear slime. Also, don't forget that it's completely normal for slime to lose moisture if you play with it a lot. So if your slime turns hard after you've been playing with it for a long time, then that's simply because of the constant friction and it has nothing to do with your actual recipe. Hack 28 is how to get the perfect clear slime. The most common reason by far why clear slime fails is because your glue didn't contain any PVA. All of these are water-based solvent-free craft glues, but each one behaves differently when used for slime. So be sure to experiment with all kinds of brands until you find one which works. I'm using a basic recipe of 2 tablespoons glue, 2 pinches baking soda, and enough contact lens solution to see if the slime is coming together. As you can see here, only the first 2 glues actually worked. The third one looks just like the rest, but it stayed completely liquid. The fourth one is Uhu lösungsfrei, which many people can get in Europe. This one starts turning lumpy, but don't let it confuse you because the glue itself is still sticky. So whatever is happening here isn't actually producing slime, and this brand is no good. Once you have your slime, place it in a clear container and wait for the bubbles to clear. The more water you add to your slime, the faster it'll turn transparent. The maximum ratio is 1:1, which is what I'm doing to the one on the right. So here are the same slimes 1 day later. You can see the one with water is almost completely transparent. The other one will still take a few days, but that will give you a liquid glass putty-like slime. There are times when you want to make different types of clear slime. For instance, Fishbowl Slime or Floam both work best with a thin, sticky slime that contains lots of water. This holds all the pieces together and prevents anything from falling out. In contrast, Avalanche Slime works best with a thick, clear slime. Check out my first Instagram slime video for the tutorial. If your clear slime is too thin, then everything mixes together too quickly and you'll lose this amazing marbled effect. Here's an example of failed avalanche slime, and you can see that all the colors have blended together. If you have a slime shop, then you don't want this to happen by the time your customer receives their order. If you want to know how to make instant clear slime, then check out my tutorial here. This DIY is fun and easy to do. Clear slime will always turn cloudy when you play with it because air gets trapped inside and it forms tiny bubbles. You can place it inside a container and leave it alone for a few days and it should turn clear again. However, this process only works a few times and eventually the slime will stay foggy. Always use the smallest container possible when storing your slimes. The lid should actually be touching the slime because this keeps everything fully airtight. Even if there's a tiny gap in your container like this, the air pocket inside will cause your slime to slowly dry up. If you want good containers for your slimes, just search for dessert cups with lids on Amazon. These are really cheap and convenient to use. I love the fact that when you scroll down to related products, you realize the only people who've been buying this are also slime makers. If you need stickers or branding for your slime, then try moo.com. I've been using them for years and they have great products and amazing customer service. If you have a slime shop, then be sure to keep your own slimes for at least a month to see how they hold up. Some slimes turn rubbery or smelly over time, so you don't want to ship that to your customers and have it arrive in a bad state. And also, it hardly needs to be said, but try not to play with any slimes that you intend to sell. As mentioned earlier, this causes the slime to dry up, so your customers will be getting a less than perfect product. Not all PVA glues are the same, so be sure to experiment with different brands. For instance, these three look identical, but each one produces a different slime. So depending on whether you want to make fluffy slime, butter slime, cream cheese slime, or glossy slime, be sure to try out different brands to find the perfect texture. Eyeshadow or highlighters are great for making metallic or pearly slimes. They're much easier to find than metallic pigments. If you have any expired makeup lying around, then you can easily use those up for slime. Clear slime always works best as the base for glitter, pigments, or ink. It helps to bring out and magnify all the colors inside glitter. Mixing anything into white slime is the same as mixing it into white paint. It's very opaque and it will hide some of the colors. And lastly, the 40th hack is just to keep on practicing. My early attempts at making slime were all huge fails. This was the first slime I made that actually came together, but it obviously looks far from perfect. Since then, I learned all the things that I just told you in this video, and I really hope it can help you out. If you still have any questions that weren't answered by this video, then please feel free to leave them down below. You can also follow me on Snapchat and Instagram under my username Macaroon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!